Hi. We're gonna do that again. A long night.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. Hi. It's Dick.
And Tim.
Audio Jungle.
Thank you very much for joining us again for our next episode. Tonight we're going to talk about something that we have actually, I was going to say, not very much experience with, but a fair amount of experience in our lives, our business lives, and that is how do you deal with failure, and do that without sinking your company. Just a reminder that where we're coming from is how can your small business compete with larger businesses that have more resources and still kind of get an upper hand. A lot of that conversation was around AI, and a lot of this conversation, like all the rest, we're going to start with AI. So a couple of interesting topics happening right now, and then we'll get into the meat of this. So I'll go ahead and start with two things around AI. Recently, the Department of War in Claude or Anthropic, had a conflict where Department of War wants to use Claude's technology in I want to say it's a $220 million contract. That's at least directionally correct. But they weren't, the Department of War wasn't willing to hold to Claude's use conditions, which were you can't use our tech for mass surveillance, and you can't use it for lethal weapons that are not manned or at least supervised by humans. So lots of folderol around this, and Claude ended up sticking to their terms of use. Department of War threatened to cancel the $220 million contract, and not only that, but put Claude on a list of enemy combatants so that nobody that does any business with Department of Defense can do business with Anthropic or Claude. Anthropic stuck to their guns, and OpenAI, who runs ChatGPT, stepped in, took over the contract, said they have red lines that they are going to hold themselves to and hold the Department of Defense to, but took over that contract, and Department of Defense is moving forward with that. As a result of this, I'm doing the only thing that I can do to make any impact, and I've actually canceled my OpenAI or ChatGPT Pro account. I've shifted to Anthropic and Claude that I've been playing with and trying just to sort of A/B test the two against each other. But that's my reaction to this. I'm super interested to see if anybody has had an opposite reaction or a similar reaction. I just like to hear how people are dealing with this, or if anybody other than AI nerds know anything about it. So that's my first thing with regard to AI. The second thing is my most interesting use of AI, and that is its staff evaluation time at Integrate IQ. It's the first time that we've done this in sort of a focused, systemic way, and it's been a really interesting and good experience. I've had a chance to read through the staff's self-evaluations, their 360 evaluations, and their feedback on me, and it's really thoughtful. I am delighted by how seriously the team took this. But all of this culminates in a letter from me to each of the team members that talks through kind of where we're going in the next year, so in 2026. Data points for this letter. It's a more or less templatized letter, but data points come from an employee roster that I have in Google Sheets, a Google Docs template and a second Google Sheet that has a bunch of financial information, salaries, bonuses, potential raises, that kind of stuff. Being intrinsically lazy, I did not want to have to put all these letters together myself. It would have taken, certainly would have taken a day, slipping it in between the other things that I wanted to do.
3 weeks.
Potentially 3 weeks. Instead of doing that, I pointed Claude at the Google Doc, both Google Sheets, and explained what I was looking for. And I told it to make a letter for each person. And it did in about 15 minutes. And on top of that, and I don't know where this came from, it actually went and it found each individual's unique contribution over the last year. And it augmented what I asked it to do in each of these letters with this, let's call it a sentence, maybe 2 sentences about what had been accomplished by these people.
That's pretty awesome.
It was, it blew my mind. I didn't ask it to do that.
Yeah.
It was crazy,
Yeah.
and it saved me a bunch of time. And, AI writes better than I do now.
Absolutely.
Yep,
100%.
The tech is there, and I've trained it enough that it sounds better and more concise and more cogent and more clear than I do. So I'm really pleased with the way these letters turned out. And it didn't take a ton of time. Still my thoughts. And I edit the result, which I think is the key, right? You can't just have AI run and let it go. It's a great starting point, but it takes some, I think best practices, it takes some massaging. But I'm really happy. It was a great result.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I have someone that I worked with a long time ago. He's a great guy, and he talks about AI being an overeager intern.
Yeah.
And that it's always agreeing with you and telling you how smart you are and this, that, and the other, and which is all probably designed for us to accept its answers more. Like we're being manipulated, right? But the overeager intern. And so, but I think it's also good not just to think of its language back and things like that. It's also good to remember because you're its boss and you have to apply your own critical thinking to whatever it brings you, just like you would any staff person. You have to, as a good boss, you have to think about how am I defining what it is that I want my employees to do? How is it I'm critically thinking about and improving what they brought back? And how am I giving them feedback to make it easier and better next time around? So 3 things you do with any employee, whether they're a digital employee or a human employee. So you can't forget that responsibility you have in order to do it right. You can't just accept what an overeager intern does for you and be like, yeah, I'm going to take that in front of the board. It's just, you wouldn't, right? So don't. But that's pretty neat.
It's pretty cool.
Went above and beyond. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it pulled and merged data from 3 different data sources and found the right fields and it insert. It was good.
Yeah, it is frequent that when I'm having it do something, it's not just from one source. It's like, hey, can you go out and search for blah, blah, blah? And I'm using like a thing I'm writing right now. Or maybe it's one I just published. I'm like, man, there was a quote in Lawrence of Arabia said by Prince Faisal. Which is something like this. Can you go find it? And then it wanted to, it returned the quote. And I'm like, yeah, but there was like a lead into it. Can you provide me with that lead in? And then it did, but it kept arguing with me that the quote was like, no, just use this part of it, not that part. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the setup to make this part make sense. Like, so that's my transition to say that I've got some bitches this week about AI. And I forget what my first bitch was. I think I mentioned it to you in passing.
Yeah, was it that it injects every single platform injects a suggestion and distracts you?
That's right. So outside of the use of any one particular large language model, the fact that now the accounting systems I use, the word processing system I use, the slides, right, whether it be PowerPoint or slides, Word or Docs, Excel or Sheets, everything is now popping up with, do you want to beautify this slide? Do you want to improve this slide? Do you want to change the language? How about this layout? And it's just like, I'm trying to get something done. Would you just shut the fuck up? Oh, pardon me. Would you just shut the heck up? I am like, I don't need any more texts from people. I don't need any more, like, the fact that my truck now texts me when the tire gets a little low and stuff like that. It's just, I've had it with alerts. I've had it with suggestions. I've had it with like, and I know I'm probably missing out, but when it's constant, I can't, there is no filter. And so I am sick and tired of people saying, well, our system is smart now. Surely you want that. And it's like, I was summing up a column. I don't need to understand things about, I know where I'm heading with this spreadsheet. Like, I'm looking for one answer and I know how to get it. I don't need you to think of the 18 other questions I didn't ask about this data, which I'm not asking. And I probably never would. So just shut up. So that's one rant is, the same reason why I don't have a smart dishwasher and a smart fridge is I don't need to be notified of more things in my life. I get so many notifications. I just need everything to just shut the hell up for a while. And if it's important, do it your damn self. Like people were saying, well, someday your fridge will be able to tell you when you're out of eggs. Why are you telling me? Go tell Albertsons, go tell Amazon Fresh, go tell somebody and have the eggs show up. Like, I don't need to be told. My honey-do list does not need to be AI influenced. So that's rant number one.
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
Do you remember back in the day, Microsoft Clippy?
Yeah.
It's just Clippy.
Yeah. It is AI spam, right? It is now spam. It is designed to get a reaction from me to interact with their product, their service, their offer, right? That's all direct response advertising is. This is another form of that, and it just kind of irritates the crap out of me. Right. So that's bucket number one. Bucket number two is I was watching some exciting television show, and Brenda and I watch one episode a night, and it would end on a cliffhanger. And so me being me, I can't watch ahead because Brenda doesn't want to watch ahead, right? But I want to know the outcome of that scene. So I'm like, did the guy die in the car, right? And simple things like that. Did the person who got shot in the car at the end of the show, did they die? It would give me a clear answer. No, the person did not die. They die later in episode blah, blah, blah. The next day, Brenda and I sit down on the couch and we turn on the TV and the man is dead. It was a complete lie. So I'm like, jump on and I'm like, you lied to me. He did not die in the car. You said last night he dies 3 episodes later and a blah, blah, blah. Like, and it's like, well, I had made assumptions about blah, but we're watching a show that all the episodes exist. There's probably Reddit lists of people giving their feedback on the episodes. Like, I could have done that, but I asked you instead to go find the information and answer a simple question, a black and white answer, not what were they thinking when? Are they dead or are they alive? Did the person get shot or not? Yeah. Was there an explosion or not? Like, and it was like, well, I can't be counted on for blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what do you mean you can't be? This is basics. If I can't count on you to provide me with a factual piece of information for something that already exists out there, how can I count on you for any of the other things you tell me are factually based?
Yeah. How do my books look? What's my accounting? How am I trending this year? What are my stocks like? I mean,
And it said to me, well, you can't. I'm mostly useful for making your writing better, making like it, telling me a bunch of stuff. It's like I sometimes don't get facts right.
oh, dude. Okay. You want to
I
call
was
this one out?
scared as crap. Yeah, it's ChatGPT.
Do you have a paid version or the free version?
I do. I have the paid version. Yeah.
Wow.
I may have deleted it, but I think I have the.
Wow. That
I have
is
the-
really. Wow. That's really bad.
Yeah, I don't see. I may have deleted the string because I should have.
Huh.
I should have kept.
Wow.
I wasn't thinking about this. I
Ranting
should have-
on recording.
that I wanted to provide that answer to someone else, but I'll go see if I can get it to recreate that answer and I'll provide it to you. But it was like, yeah, for certain facts, don't count on me. And it's like, but you're my research assistant. It's my writing assistant. It's my research assistant,
And it's all there.
and it's telling me that its research may not be accurate.
Yeah.
That was frightening as heck.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I need to write a termination letter for someone in Michigan. Can you write me a termination letter that includes important aspects of Michigan employment law? Yikes! I thought that answer was right, and who knows now?
Yeah.
I'm just,
Wow.
I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, ChatGPT.
It was a basic thing.
That's really interesting.
It got it wrong several times. Like, it was the one guy dying in the car. It was, when does another character? Because it's one of these shows where over the course of a season, like half everybody dies, right? So I was just wondering if they died then or died later, right? It's not The Walking Dead, but it's like that, right? Where someone gets written out every few episodes, and man, they got him wrong. Consistent. Like, then when I cornered it, then I'm like, I don't want conjecture. I don't want your best guess. I want you to go research what actually happened according to the real storyline.
Yeah.
Not whatever.
Fan
not,
fiction and
not anything else. Like, I want you to, from this script, what happened. And at that point, it started giving me stuff that was right. Like, I had to be really careful about how I framed the question.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was like, no, he didn't die in the car. And in fact, when the government comes to talk to so-and-so, when they say that he committed suicide, they knew that he was alive and they were just testing the character. Complete fabrication.
Wow.
That whole line of, so that's when I was like, okay, I want no conjecture whatsoever. Oh, he died in the car. Right? And it's just like, no, you can't just walk it back like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't just.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know if he was picking up stuff from fan, Reddit posts or whatnot. Anyway, I was mortified because I've been counting on it as my research assistant.
Yeah.
And now I know I have to be super careful about how I phrase the question.
I wonder if that is consistent amongst LLMs. So does Gemini do the same thing? Does Claude do the same thing? Does Copilot do the same thing? Are any of them better than the others? One kind of related topic, right? I canceled my ChatGPT account. How long do you think it took to migrate to Claude? Like, I wanted all my memories, all my instructions, all my brand voice stuff. I wanted all that in Claude.
Not long, either really long or really short.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Yeah, neat.
Claude has developed a prompt,
an onboarding prompt
that you give to any other LLM that gives a structured response back.
That it knows how to ingest.
You copy.
Yeah.
You paste, done deal. It didn't take 2
Yeah.
minutes.
That's great.
It's great, yes, and it makes them all a commodity.
Yeah.
So there is no switching cost now.
Yeah.
I really I listened to Scott Galloway and Kara Swisher and on the Pivot podcast, and they talk about and the Prof G Markets podcast. They talk about LLMs as a commodity, and it's going to be a race to the bottom. And as hyped as those companies are, and as high as their valuations are on the market today, and or on the private markets, I guess. Society may be the ones that that get the benefit from it, as opposed to shareholders.
I'm hesitant. Because if you don't know what the product is, you're the product.
Yep.
Which means just like Google search. Right? There's absolutely no cost to consumer, but the consumer is the product. Right? They're either serving up responses based upon paid results, or they're selling those searches. They're selling your thinking, your data, your whatever. And that's absolutely what's going to happen. I can't tell you how many people I talk to that they use a large language model to understand their taxes and to put in their to reconcile their bank accounts and to whatever. I'm like, oh my God, it knows. Not that it didn't really know that stuff anyway. Like, shame on me for thinking that any of this is private, but it knows what problems I have, what problem codes my car is spitting out. Because I'll be like, hey, the car said blank. What does that mean, right? And it's like, oh, Richard has this kind of car, which having this kind of a problem right now, which, you know what I mean? It's like it knows literally everything about me.
Yeah, it's true of me for sure. I've used large language models to analyze my company financials, our personal financials, to analyze risk profiles of our, not just our stock holdings, but all of our other assets. Where are we exposed? What kind of things could bring us down? How do we mitigate those risks? What's the probability of bombing Iran? All kinds of stuff, and it's all in there.
I can't imagine. So yes, and I can't imagine there aren't people. So let me back up. Non-for-profit that I know that has built bots for medical chats with people, and particularly in Africa, in sensitive subjects, around sensitive subjects for young women. And what they found is, upon releasing this bot, they found that people would rather speak to a bot than a human, because these are sensitive subjects and they don't want to be judged, and they don't want this and they don't want that.
Yeah.
One of the things that has made me think is, okay, people are using large language models to ask questions, to confess things, to talk about stuff that they wouldn't talk about with anyone else.
Yeah.
It knows that about you.
Again, this is directionally correct. I don't know that it's the right number. 60% of LLM use is for therapy, personal therapy.
So
all of that's in there.
Yeah. So what's my point, or where was I heading with this, is it's not just the factual information about your bank account and the transactions that you have and your personal financial situation and your home and your car and whatever issues you might be, your anxieties, your hopes and dreams, like all that is available for sale now too.
Yep.
I think I heard don't quote me yet. I think I heard that there was some crime recently. Guy got busted for stuff, and he had been asking questions of ChatGPT relative to that crime, and that's how they got him, because that's not privileged information. So if you were, we were just talking about tax returns. So if you were cheating on your tax return and you talk to ChatGPT about it, the IRS can go get that question and get those answers and prove that you knew better and that you were doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
That's just right. And I don't know how many people are thinking about their large language model use as if you were doing it at a bus station. Like, imagine writing it on a bus station wall and the answer then pops up for everybody to see.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Huh.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
It is.
Privacy was... Oh, so going all the way back, and I know we're spending way too much time on this subject, but going all the way back, there's to the beginning of my rant. I recall saying we're probably in a window of time with large language models where they're really useful. Because there was a time at the beginning of the internet when it was really useful. And you felt like you got factual information and you could do good research. And even Wikipedia was like 99% right.
Yeah.
And now it's all misinformation, cat videos, and pornography.
Yeah, it's been bastardized.
Right?
Yeah. Advertisements.
And so advertisements, misinformation, cat videos, and pornography, right?
Yeah.
That's the four main uses of the internet. And so I was thinking we're probably in this weird window where large language models are useful and they're going to degrade to advertising,
Yeah.
cat videos, misinformation, and pornography. Pornography is already there from what I understand. I have not partaken, but I understand like it can make images for you that would boggle the mind. Yeah, and I hear people are falling in love with the bots they make and stuff like that. Like that, I heard an interview.
There was a movie about that.
Okay.
Called She, maybe? Her?
Okay. But at least that was a robot, wasn't it? Or
I think it was a...
it's like literally the person isn't... Like they put them on a speaker and then... But that's... Other than that, it is an open conversation with a large language model who is only an overeager intern. So if you fall in love with your overeager intern, it's because all you want to hear is someone agreeing with you all day long. That's on you, because that doesn't happen in the real world. Right?
Have you seen Who I Married?
Yes. But the point being, I wonder if we're starting to already...
When it's starting to lose its usefulness.
Starting to lose its accuracy and precision, right?
I'd argue it never has been accurate.
Okay.
It's always had hallucinations. In fact, that was when it first came out, that was the biggest problem with it. And it feels like a lot of that's been worked out. You do have to be precise in your prompting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it got better or if we got better in our prompting.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
And certainly this idea of, look, I need facts. I don't want conjecture. I don't want you thinking it through what it could mean. I want you to tell me what it is, which probably was the problem in the early days when people would cite legal precedents, and it turned out that it was citing precedents from a movie script or from non-real sources, right? It's like, well, there was a case of Richard versus Tim where Richard sued Tim for $10 million and won over this theory. And it's like, yeah, but that was on Miami Vice, or something, right?
That's right.
So it's like, only include precedents from these court systems or from whatever, right? Anyway, so some of that was a lack of precision on our asking the question, right? Which I've learned the lesson. But I just got a bad feeling it's going to start truly making shit up.
Yeah.
Right. And possibly intentionally so, with the idea of manipulation.
So I think that's the difference. I'm going to go back and I remember very clearly the hallucinations that were happening initially, and it was like, well, it can't be trusted. Feels like it can be trusted more now, but have we reached a tipping point? And now it's going to become that it's going to intentionally, not inadvertently, provide misinformation.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just I'm on a rant this week.
Yeah, no, it's a good rant. It's a good rant. Thank you. Shall we get to?
Let's edit that down.
Have you?
Yeah, let's get to your question.
The question, if you'll recall, the question is, well, I guess the statement of fact is you will have failures in your business. It's going to happen if you're building something in public, meaning not hiding it. Then you will make mistakes and have failures in the public view, which I think is really healthy, by the way. But how do you do that and not take the company down, right? What do you need to do to inoculate yourself a little bit? And if you want to think that through for a minute, I'm happy to.
No, you go, and that way I can probably understand the question a little bit more, because you layered on a second piece to your question, which is, and how do you not let that injure the company?
Yeah.
And what I want clarified, or I guess what I need clarified is it the making of mistakes that brings down the company, or your reaction to making mistakes is what brings down the company?
Yeah. So the way I'm thinking about it, everybody's going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
How do you is it mitigate the impact of those mistakes? Maybe is what I'm.
Okay.
So yeah. How do you not negatively?
More the former than the latter. I thought the question was about the latter. Meaning, it's not the mistake that's bringing down the company; it's your reaction to the mistake that's bringing down the company. So, how do you avoid that? And that's where my brain was thinking about.
Thank you. Yeah. How do you?
But you talk.
Trying to think about
tell me where you're going. No. I'll get it through your example.
Okay, and I don't. Man, I make mistakes all the time. I think maybe I need to recognize or acknowledge them more than as I get older and I worry about it less. I make mistakes all the time. I'm clear about it. I am transparent about it. I don't try to hide them from anybody, not from my employees, not from my family, not from my friends, not from our clients. And for me, that's the key. I've talked about 3 values that are the values that I live by: honesty, integrity, and transparency. For me, this part comes down to 2 of those. I guess you could wrap in all 3, but transparency for sure. If I make a mistake, if the company makes a mistake, I don't try to hide it. Everybody's going to make mistakes. So in my mind, how do you acknowledge that and not bring the company down? It's by acknowledging it and reacting to that out of integrity. So let's say you invoice somebody incorrectly, or you deliver a physical product that isn't up to, has a piece of software that has a bug. Acknowledge it, address it, deal with it,
correct it, move on.
Correct it, and move on. Yeah, perfect. That's exactly right. So, look, I think we can take things and make it very complicated. There could be a million steps to that, but be transparent about it. do the right thing, move on. Just the last thing I'll say about this is my experience has been that adversity in the presence of others, meaning almost dying on the side of a mountain, almost getting in a motorcycle accident, getting stranded somewhere, life and death, or life and death with somebody, adversity with somebody. When you get through that with that individual or group, it brings you together more than you could have in any other way. So adversity brings people closer together, even when it's you screwed up a product or you did something wrong. If you deal with it out of integrity, it will be respected and appreciated, and you will build trust in your relationship with the other party.
Yep.
That's what I have to say about that.
Okay. Yeah, and so a mistake-free life doesn't happen, right? We're all saying that. It's not only how we respond to those mistakes, which I agree wholeheartedly with your approach. It's 100% right. Also, how we integrate, discuss, internalize those mistakes is also, I think, important for an organization. So what do I mean by that? We've got an integration with a client, and we mess something up. We make a mistake, and we are transparent with the client. We fix the mistake, and we move on, right? We package it up. We don't try to hide it. We don't try to whatever, right? So we just own it, fix it, make it right. That's like the what we do about it. That's the external piece. That could also happen. That same thing could happen in two different ways for the organization, which is, let's say it's an engineer. Engineer made the mistake. So once the mistake is found, the CEO beats the crap out of the engineer. The CS beats the crap out of the engineer, then goes hat in hand and does the right thing. CEO does the right thing. The CS department does the right thing. The engineer comes back and fixes it. But internally, it's like hard. There's the complete other alternative, which I'm going to describe something which is probably too far, but it's like you made a mistake. Thank God you brought it up, and you were trying something new that just happened to go wrong. So let's celebrate the mistake, and right, because we were trying something new, and now we'll fix it or expose it, fix it, and move on. Right? I think there's a form of the latter, which you can in fact do. I think too many times people will do the right thing, but they beat the crap out of people along the way.
Yeah.
And I think, and I know that the pendulum can swing too far, so don't get me wrong. I did that a little tongue-in-cheeky. But if you are in a dynamic organization where you are expecting creativity from your people, the application of that creativity will result in mistakes.
Yeah.
And so the more creativity you want, theoretically, the more mistakes you're going to get.
Yeah.
Than some environment where it's like you will always follow the MOQ. SOP. You'll always follow the SOP. You'll always do the whatever. We're going to take no creativity no chance for error.
Yeah.
I want creativity. I have to be willing to accept mistakes.
Yeah.
Sir Ken Robinson, if you haven't watched his relatively short TED Talk on the status of schools, and he's British, hence the sir, but I think he's talking mostly about education in the United States, but it's educational worldwide since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, when most educational systems were created. He talks about the fact that education beats creativity out of kids because it's designed to reduce errors.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to run the risk of making a mistake, you're not willing to try something creative. And he's like, there's actually a direct correlation between the amount of the number of kids that say they're creative at age 4 versus 8 versus 12, right? Because they've been told, no, that's not the right answer. No, that's not the right thing. And one of the examples he gives is the kids are all doing art, and the teacher comes up to little Julie, and Julie says, and the teacher says, what are you drawing? And I'm drawing a picture of God. And it's like, Julie, no one knows what God looks like. And she's like, they will soon. Right? And we don't accept that, right? It was okay for her to be wrong. Like, she's totally,
I love
like,
that.
you know what I mean? Like, so we can't have it both ways. I don't think I'd like to believe there's no discussion at all on what to do, what your responsibility is as an organization or as a person when a mistake is made. The only variable is, what is the corporation's attitude toward making mistakes? And I think it has a direct correlation to the way you want to operate your business and the way you want, how much creativity you want in your organization.
What kind of culture do you want?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So one of my clients has a monthly all hands meeting, and they had to change the name because someone had a problem with the name. But there's a section of the all hands meeting which was, I can't remember the original name now, of course, now that I've said it, but it was something like stupid fucking shit or something like that, where people talk about in front of the rest of the organization, here's a mistake I made this last month.
Oh, I like
Here's
it.
a bonehead mistake I made this last month. And it turned into like lessons learned or something innocuous like that is its new name.
Yeah.
And the reason I love the old name is because it's like, let's celebrate the fact that
I've never heard.
Damn, we did a dumb.
That's
Dude,
really interesting.
I did a dumbass thing this past month.
Yeah.
I did blankety blanket. Can you believe it? And what's neat? It's going back to your other point, which is people that go through diversity will often bond together.
Yeah.
What you will find out of that is not someone sharing the blame. They always share the solution. Yeah. I did this stupid freaking thing. I was trying to get this piece of code out, and I put it into production before it went through test. And I didn't really mean to put in production, but it was like I was just uploading the code, and I didn't think about which database I was going to, and it was like it was late and blah blah blah. Like, so there's a little bit of excuse in there, right? But blah blah. And then and they're like, and it took down the whole system the next morning when it crashed. It wouldn't give alerts to clients and stuff. So now we're left scrambling and dialing it back. Thank God for Tim and Jane and Sarah and whatever who freaking rescued me. Thank you guys, right?
Yeah.
So it goes from an acknowledgement that someone did something in a public forum where they can kind of like call themselves out and whatnot, and it turns into a thank you session, an attaboy for the people who helped.
Yeah.
And so what's funny is they feel like, yeah, well, it wasn't that bad. Come on, it wasn't that bad. And management can jump in and say, yeah, but look at the 4 things we tried new this time around, right? Look at that. Like, we tried, like, one of our things is build and ship. And you tried to build and ship. Yeah, we made a mistake, but frick it, you were trying to build and ship. Good for you. Like,
Yeah.
so they get a little bit off, and they get to attaboy their friend. Like, it's actually
It's really interesting.
a neat thing.
Yeah.
It's a small organization. It's like 45 people, but I think it's a neat thing, and it's something that they've done the whole time that they've been there.
Yeah.
They changed the name of it to not offend somebody. But I think that it's so what am I saying? I'm saying it's the attitude toward making mistakes that I think is the difference. If you are hiding mistakes and trying to cover up from your customers or whomever is impacted by the mistake, and you're not necessarily making it right, and you're kind of making it their fault too, and like we're blaming the victim, America's greatest pastime, like, stop and change that. Assuming you're not doing something that dumbass, then it comes back to what is your attitude toward making mistakes. And it comes back to what is the culture you want, not just in terms of allowing people an out, but in terms of how you want them to think. In this case, I need creativity. I need people living our values, even if it costs us every once in a while. Yeah. Anyway, that's my point.
We have shared a story in the series before, and that was Seahawks were playing. I don't remember the game, and unfortunately, I'm blanking on the receiver's name.
Baldwin.
So pass gets dropped, and
like several.
Well, there was one in particular where a pass got dropped, and clearly he was feeling down on himself, and it was, the receiver should hit him in the hands, right? It's his responsibility to catch it. And Coach Carroll ran up to him and said effectively, that's too bad. I can't wait to see what you're going to do next time.
I can't wait to see what you do in the next series.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's like down on him, like, what am I doing? I am having the worst day. And I recall thinking to myself, it ain't his day. Maybe they should sit him down, right?
Yeah.
They should bench him for the game. And of course, that would have been
the worst thing. Yep.
Right? That would have been just flogging the poor guy. And like seating a kicker or someone who's already in his own head.
Oh, my God.
And now you're gonna say those little voices you're hearing, they're right.
Yeah.
Listen to those little voices. No, he was just like, no, they're wrong. Yeah. Right? He just walks up.
You are so good.
You are so good. I can't wait to see what you do in the next series, right? Yeah. Those voices are wrong. Yeah. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. Such good leadership.
Yeah.
That's
yep.
I miss having him here.
For that reason. Yes.
Just good leadership.
When he was teaching at SC, I wanted to go down just to go audit a lecture, just one lecture.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was actually lecturing or if he was just, someone with a title in the background. But if he did lecture,
yeah, I
would have liked to have gone.
Yeah.
But he might be available again.
Yeah, who knows? Hope he takes some time off.
Yeah, he's in his 70s. He should go into that.
Yep. All right, let's wind this thing, land this plane.
Yep.
So I hope you got something from this. Thank you so much for sticking with us. If you have questions, you can DM us or include comment. If you like what you've heard with Armchair Quarterbacks, please share it with your network. Repost it. Let's get the word out about this. And we will see you next time. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Audio Jungle.